Hey, it's Kim Commando Today. It's your fun podcast about all things digital. And oh my gosh, do you remember Bryan Johnson, Andrew?
Of course. He's unforgettable.
Yeah, he's the guy who's trying to crack the code on living forever. I mean, just a fascinating guy. He's been on the show before. And he's all into reverse aging. And he has on his website everything that he does so that, maybe you want to follow his footprint. I mean, and it's called Project Blueprint, by the way. Project Blueprint, and he's using himself as the test subject. Now, Bryan says he's the most measured human being in history. We talked to him about that last time, right? You remember that?
Yeah. And I since we've talked to him, I've taken 0 pieces of his advice.
Really? You look different.
No, I haven't changed a thing. I was like, this guy's right. We got to do this. We got to be better. And, I haven't done anything different. No, it's exactly the same.
I will tell you that I bought the olive oil off his website. Yeah. And it is phenomenal. I mean, you taste the olives and, it's got a different consistency over like olive oil that you get in the supermarket. But anyway, Bryan has hit a milestone that he calls 0.64. Basically, for every 12 months that pass, his body only ages 7.6 months, and his birthday now happens every 19 months. So, Bryan, thanks for being here. Do we say happy birthday?
Yes, it is. Thank you. Thanks for nice to be back.
So what is your body age right now if you're following your birthday 19-month calendar?
Yeah, well, it's really a new frame of a concept. We've always assumed that the birthday should be celebrated every 12 months. And we're demonstrating that there are clocks inside your body that actually show you your speed of aging. So if you're aging at a 1, then it's, as a normal 46-year-old would age, 1 biological year for 1 chronological year. But you can actually slow down that clock. And so for the past 4 years, we've endeavored to try to slow down my speed of aging. And this is a new personal best. It's a slower speed of aging than 99% of 20-year-olds.
Wow. So you can't even drink yet.
That's right.
Marketing is hard. But I'll tell you a little secret. It doesn't have to be. Let me point something out. You're listening to a podcast right now, and it's great. You love the host. You seek it out and download it. You listen to it while driving, working out, cooking, even going to the bathroom. Podcasts are a pretty close companion. And this is a podcast ad. Did I get your attention? You can reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a pre-produced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience in their favorite podcasts with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com, that's LIBSYN, ads.com today.
So I watched the video of you going down to Honduras for the I guess you'd say, is it DNA or gene therapy? What would you call that?
That's right. It was my first longevity gene therapy. And so what we did is, as a team, we combed through all the scientific literature and we tried to find the science that had the best results. So what would be encouraging, for example, if you find a study that, extended mice lifespan for, 30%. And then we ranked all the scientific evidence according to how good they were at increasing longevity. And then we started working through that process systematically. And so this given therapy, gene therapy for follistatin, ranks number 7. And so we've been trying to do it for the past few years, but we could never find a gene therapy that was safe, because once you do gene therapy, you can't really turn it off. Well, we found a company that allowed us to do the gene therapy and also have a kill switch. So if you don't like the outcome or you're worried about it, you can just take an antibiotic, tetracycline, and it turns it off. So I did the gene therapy in September. I also gave it to my dad. And since then, we got the 6-month results where I increased my muscle mass by 7% and my speed of aging dropped to a new personal best of 0.64.
And so why Honduras? Why go there? Because it was actually an island off of Honduras.
Yeah, the therapy is not approved in the US by the FDA. It was developed in Prospera, which is a special economic zone on the island off the coast of Honduras. And so it's legally administered in that jurisdiction, but it's not FDA approved in the US.
So can you feel a difference?
I can't. When I first started doing my protocol a few years ago, I was migrating from sleep deprivation and being overweight and eating junk food to sleeping well and exercising and eating well. And I felt a dramatic difference in my overall well-being. But once you've become optimized to a certain degree, it's pretty hard to feel the effects of anything. So at this point, I kind of feel great all the time. And it's just hard to move the needle very much at this point.
But that makes complete sense. I mean, when we were 20 and we'd go out all weekend and just sleep a couple hours, you were fine rolling in on Monday morning. And now I peel an orange and I need to take a nap. So that totally makes sense.
Like, for example, there's a common idea that, you work out 2 or 3 times a week or 3 or 4 times a week. You let your muscles repair in that time frame. I work out 7 days a week, 1 hour every day. I never get sore. And so we're doing things that do pressure test what we've been told. And so far, we can't identify anything that is wrong. It doesn't seem like we're causing any damage. My muscle mass is the top 99 percentile. My fat is 99 percentile optimal. And so, my body just is working really well in all areas.
It truly is, that your body is a machine at this point. And I will tell you, Bryan, is that I saw pictures of you this morning. Probably 10 years ago. You look so great now. I mean, before you looked like that tech guy that was living on Red Bull and just barely existing. And now you're like this vibrant man. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's exactly how I feel. I was mostly dead in that kind of lifestyle. And now I feel it's the best conscious experience of my life.
So now you talked about the fact that everything is working and nothing's harming you yet. If you get to a point where you're seeing reversals or you're trying something and it's hurting you, will you just adjust? Will you cut that off? How are you going to manage something like that?
Yeah, we do. We experiment and we learn and we adjust, and it's a constant process. And it's really a good question of how much do we really know and how much do we not know. It could be possible that we really don't know most of what we should know. And so we just don't know where we're at in the stage of anti-aging. But so far, with what we can tell, we look at biomarkers like cholesterol and triglycerides and inflammation, things like that. We look at other more advanced technologies like, or I guess I should say emergent technologies like speed of aging. But in every biomarker, I'm in the top 1%. And so I potentially have the best biomarkers of anyone in the entire world. And so if anyone's better than me, I don't know who they are. They haven't shared it. But if you look at across the board, so we've really set a new standard on when you say good health, what data can you demonstrate to back that up?
Jeff Bezos looks a lot different than he did 10 years ago, too. Is he doing any type of anti-aging that you know of?
I do not know anything what Jeff is doing. I saw him at a gathering, but we didn't get into many details. So I know he's working on it generally, but I don't know what his protocol is.
And so were you concerned, going back to Honduras, were you concerned that maybe when you get the gene therapy that something might go wrong, that maybe there might be a cancer or something that might develop from that?
Yeah, there's always the risk. So my team and I spent 2 years researching this therapy. So we try to be as methodical and safe as we can. Now, of course, you can't entirely eliminate risk. So we're always taking risks. When I get into the car and drive, I'm taking a risk. And so we do try to be very thoughtful. We don't take any unnecessary risks, but this entire endeavor is experimental. No one's ever done this before. So we're very eyes wide open. We're humble. We're open. We know we're going to make mistakes. But so far, if you just say you're going to grade this effort based upon biomarkers that the world agrees upon, like cardiovascular capacity or heart health, lung health. Again, I'm in the top 1% on all the categories across the board. So from what we do know today, we've exceeded far and above what I thought was possible.
See, Andrew, there's hope for you. You could go to maybe be the top 60%.
Hey, that sounds attainable. I went to high school and got those grades, so I'm used to 60%. Is this a forever project, or are you going to reach a point where you went, we figured it out, I did it, now I'm going to have a burrito?
The idea of eating, going to Taco Bell or McDonald's or something just makes me sick. It would not be worth it. I would hate myself. I would immediately, have an upset stomach. I wouldn't sleep that well that night. So no, really this endeavor, I know it seems like it's about vegetables and exercise and whatnot. What I'm really trying to do is pose the question that what does the human race do when you're baby steps away from creating super intelligence? It's the most important question on planet Earth right now. And so I host a dinner at my house every week. I gather 10 to 12 people together, and for 2 hours, we talk about these concepts, and I lead them through a guided discussion with thought experiments. And it takes that long to get your head around what existence may be like for being a human in the coming years. And so the entirety of what I'm doing is centered around this concept of don't die. If you live in the 1500s, what can you imagine to be the most aspirational thing? One might be sailing around the world. And when you're in the year 2024, what aspirations can you express? And I'm proposing that as a species, this is the first time in our history where we could say with a straight face, we may not die. And as outlandish as that seems, the future always seems outlandish to the present. And so that's what this endeavor is about as a species. It's don't die individually, don't kill each other, don't kill the planet, and align AI with don't die. It's the single, don't die is the most played game by every human on the planet every second of every day. It's played more than capitalism. It's played more than religion. It is the singular game we play.
It is. And speaking of those dinners, is that we're sad you never invited us, but apparently you invited the other Kim, the Kim Kardashian. That must have been a pretty wild ride, huh?
We had a great time. Yeah, and Kim is very much into health and wellness. We have a lot in common, a lot more than I realized. And so it was a fun dinner, and I would love to have you attend one.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Nice way to force an invite there, Kim. That was smart. That is good thinking right there. Put them on the spot when we're live on the internet. I love it.
But this is also going to go on the show, 500 radio stations.
Yeah.
It's
the pressure's going to mount.
The whole thing, Bryan. So before you leave, because I know that you have a hard out, can you just refresh everybody's memory about what your typical day looks like and what you're eating exactly?
Yeah. So the premise behind this is we endeavored to build an algorithm that could take better care of me than I can. And so we build this algorithm with scientific evidence, and it makes all the decisions for me. And so I wake up typically around 4:30 or 5 in the morning. I then will do about 100 therapies in a given day. It's all baked in as habits. I'll just walk you through a few of them so you have an idea. The first thing I'll do is take my inner ear temperature to look at my body temperature, because body temp is an important indicator of any side effects or any problems. I'll do body composition on wearing a scale. I'll do light therapy, so 3 minutes of using a 10,000 lux light. I'll do some HRV therapy or breathing techniques for nervous system, and then I'll take some pills and drink a concoction, a Blueprint longevity mix, and then I'll work out for an hour, eat breakfast, which is a bunch of vegetables, and then a few other therapies, get ready for the day, work all day, then I have a nighttime routine. And so the day is just built out into this structured way, because what I'm trying to do something no one's ever done before. Like, for example, I posted 8 months of perfect sleep, 100% sleep score every night with a wearable. And so no one in history has done that before. And I wanted to show that you can, in fact, get perfect high quality sleep every night if you build systems around it. And so I'm not expecting people to follow my routine. What I'm trying to show people is things that certain levels of health and wellness are achievable when you build systems to support it.
Well, that's awesome. And Project Blueprint on the website, what I like is that you're sharing everything that you do. And it's really kind of neat that you are funding this whole experiment. And of course, you're the experimentee. But anybody can go to the website and then read about it, and then even, buy some products that might help them jumpstart their own routines.
That's right. Yeah. Everything is open sourced. I've given everyone the exact details of what I do, the diet, the recipes, the mistakes. And then I'd say, just for those of you listening, you don't need to do what I do. So just follow a few simple power laws. Don't smoke, exercise 6 hours a week. It doesn't matter what you do, just be active for 6 hours. 3 is eat a Blueprint and or Mediterranean-like diet. 4 is have a BMI between 18.5 and 22.5 and drink little to no alcohol. And then make sleep your top priority. And the last thing is if you make friends and community part of your life. But if you do the basics, you get the majority of the health benefits. So you definitely don't need to be on an extreme like I am. And that will really push you in the right direction.
Well, Bryan, thanks for being here again. It was great to catch up with you.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
That guy's so interesting.
He is. He's amazing. Mm-hmm. He really is. It's because sometimes I will be looking at the Daily Mail and then I see him and I'm like, oh, there's Bryan. There's Bryan.
Still alive. Still doing it.
I'll tell you, though, he looks great.
He does.
You should look at that video of him in Honduras.
But also, just him, the way he looks today compared to the last time we interviewed him. He looks so much younger. I'm serious. I'm not trying to, joke around. When he popped on the screen, I'm like, God, the guy is getting younger. He's doing it.
All right, so we got to get off our butts.
Do we have to?
And, okay, and you have to stop eating fast food. I don't do that. I need to start eating more vegetables.
No drinking.
You do too. Oh, I know. That's the hardest one. You know what? I will exercise more if I can have a martini.
That's not what he said. Okay. That's not what he said. He didn't say it's a trade-off. No alcohol. Actually, everyone here said, no, just keep doing what you're doing. They don't want you to come into work when you haven't been drinking.
Oh, my gosh. That would be bad.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.